Hi everyone, here's our final project about node property prediction on Ogbn-arxiv. Our group members are Li Xin, Yang Zongji, and Yu Kejie. The main purpose of this project is to predict 40 areas of arXiv CS papers, which are labeled by the authors and arXiv moderators. We have two specific aims. The first specific aim is to adopt GCN and other classical high-performance GNN designs. And the second specific aim is to make some improvements on GCN to address this node classification problem. Additionally, the dataset of this paper is a directed graph expressing the citation network between all computer science papers. In this graph, every node represents a paper and every edge represents a paper cites another paper. Each paper has 128 dimensional feature factor computed by the average of word embeddings from title and abstract. Also, the primary category of a paper is one of 40 classes. Finally, the dataset is separated into training, valid, and test sets based on the publication year of the paper. Next.
Okay, let me introduce the contributions. There are two contributions in our project. The contribution one is that we introduce three classical methods, GCN, GAT, and GraphSage, and compare the performance on predicting the load property. We choose GCN as our baseline. However, there are some shortcomings of GCN. The first one is an inappropriate assumption. GCN model assumes that all edges in the graph have the same weight. The second one is memory requirement. GCN model needs to store the entire graph in memory. Memory requirement goes linearly in the size of dataset. The third one is unknown information. GCN model needs to know the structural information of the word graph during training. Thus, we apply GAT, which leveraging masked self-attention layers to address the shortcoming of GCN based on graph convolutions. And the GraphSage uses sampling mechanism to solve the problem that GCN must know where the graph information and overcomes the limitation of memory in GCN training. Next. The contribution two is that we present two novel approaches for load classification on graph structure data. One is GCN linear model, another is GCN linear model with labeling as input. The GCN linear model can avoid gradient instabilities and makes the GCN more expressive and overcomes the over-smoothing issue. The GCN linear model with label as input is capable of propagating features and labels during both training and inference stages. It is capable of handling heterogeneous graphs. What's more, it can be trained end-to-end. Next.
Here we have 5 methods in these two specific aims. The GCN models as baseline avoids matrix decomposition by introducing Chebyshev polynomials and use first order approximation to avoid the problems of huge parameters of convolutional kernel. The GraphSage leverages the node feature in order to learn an embedding function that generalizes to unseen nodes, and trains a set of aggregator functions that learn to aggregate future information for a node's local neighborhood. The GAT considers the importance of different neighbors nodes when aggregating them by adopting the principle of transformer and introduce the masked self-attention mechanism. Furthermore, about the two tricks for node classification on GCN, adding linear connection with 3 parameters avoids the gradient instabilities with proper initialization. It also makes GCN more expressive and overcomes the over-smoothing issue. Finally, label as input does not contain the label information of misclassified samples, which avoids the potential to mislead their neighbors. Next.
Let me introduce experimental results of our project. Table 1 shows that GAT has the largest test accuracy among 3 classical GNN methods. In Table 2, the results of second specific aim show that these 2 improvements have been very significant in this case, since the GCN model of adding a linear connection with 3 parameters and label as input has the largest test accuracy. The figure on the right shows test accuracy of each GNN designs. The blue points represent the test accuracy and the vertical interval represents the standard errors. Next. All in all, the objective of this project is to apply GN techniques to predict the 40 areas of archive CS papers. The results illustrate that the graph attention network has the best performance among 3 classical methods, and the GCN with linear connection and label as input results in the best decision on categorizing most labels among these methods. That's all for our presentation. Thanks for listening.